Attention passionate Chicago, Bears fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Chicago Bears' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Chicago Bears fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your friends and Chicago, Bears fans. Let's get to the news all right, Bears fans. This is some serious offseason buzz that could shake up the NFC North in a way we haven't seen in years. Word on the street, or more accurately from some credible NFL sources, is that the Baltimore Ravens might be willing to part ways with one of their most dynamic linebackers, Roquan Smith, and that there's a real possibility this trade could land him in Chicago. Now I know what you're thinking. Roquan Smith, the guy who's been a tackling machine for the Ravens and a key piece of their defense, coming to the Bears. Yeah, this could be a game changer. Let's start with some context. The Ravens, sitting at 6'5", have been struggling on defense, allowing an average of 23.4 points per game, and their cap situation is tighter than ever with about $10 million in cap space left. They're also dealing with some pressing needs on the offensive line, which has been a rebuilding project for them, especially with the recent focus on bolstering the offensive line after allowing 3-1 sacks per game. Baltimore's defense has been a bright spot at times, but their linebacker core, particularly in the middle, has taken a hit with injuries and inconsistency. If they're eyeing a rebuild or at least looking to retool for the future, trading Roquan Smith could be on the table, especially if they get the right compensation. And that compensation? Well, sources are whispering that the Ravens could be looking for a first-round pick in the 2026 draft, a hefty price, but one that makes sense given Smith's impact. The idea here is that the Ravens might prioritize acquiring draft capital to help extend Lamar Jackson, especially after allowing 3-1 sacks per game, which shows they need to focus on their offensive line and perhaps view Smith as a piece to accelerate their rebuild. Meanwhile, the Bears, sitting at 9-3 and with a strong linebacker core, could really benefit from adding a player like Roquan. His leadership, speed, and ability to make game-changing stops are exactly what this defense needs to take the next step. Now, let's talk about Roquan himself. Drafted in 2018, he's been nothing short of a star for the Bears. Over his career, he amassed 597 solo tackles, 313 assists, and 910 combined tackles, with 12 sacks, 13 interceptions, and 28 pass deflections. His PFF grades are consistently elite, with a 90. 5 coverage grade last season and an impressive 91. So far in 2024, Roquan is known for his relentless motor, extraordinary tackling ability, and leadership on and off the field. He elevates any defense he's part of and is renowned for his ability to stop the run, force turnovers, and disrupt offensive rhythms. What makes this potential trade even more intriguing is how Roquan could fit into the Bears' defensive scheme. Chicago has been building around their linebackers, especially with the addition of players like Sanborn, who's been a solid presence in the middle. Adding Roquan could push Sanborn into a more specialized role or allow the Bears to diversify their linebacker packages. The combination of Smith and Sanborn could form one of the most formidable linebacker duos in the league, with the ability to cover tight ends, rush the passer, and make tackles all over the field. And let's not forget the impact this would have on the Bears' overall defense. Roquan's presence could push the entire unit to new heights, especially in third-down situations where his coverage skills shine. His ability to generate tackles for loss, combined with his tackling consistency, would give Chicago a true linebacker tandem that could dominate the line of scrimmage. Plus, his versatility means he can be moved around to match up with different offensive schemes, a real chess piece for defensive coordinator Alan Williams. Now on the Ravens' side, losing Roquan would be a blow, but it might be a calculated move. The team's linebacker core has seen some drops in tackles, with a 22% decrease in tackles per game compared to last year. They're also facing some tough questions on the offensive line, especially with Ronnie Stanley and others needing to step up. The rebuild of the offensive line, especially after allowing 3-1 sacks per game, is their priority. Baltimore might see trading Roquan as a way to recoup draft picks and focus on their offensive rebuild, which could have long-term benefits. Sources like Adam Schefter and others have pointed out that the Ravens are exploring options with premium linebackers available, and Roquan Smith's name is at the top of that list. His presence on the field is undeniable. He's a tackle machine, a leader, and a player who elevates everyone around him. In 2024, he's already been a force, playing 9 games with 51 solo tackles, 28 assists, and a PFF grade of 88. 4. His yard after catch allowed is just 3.9 yards per game, and he's been instrumental in the Ravens, plus 6 turnover differential this season. If this deal happens, it would send shockwaves through the NFC North. The Bears could be pulling off a move that not only boosts their defense for immediate playoff contention, but also signals a long-term strategy to build a linebacker dynasty. Imagine a linebacker core featuring Smith and Sanborn. That's a nightmare for offenses. It would give the Bears a core that can stop the run, cover tight ends, and rush the passer, making it harder for opponents to move the ball. In terms of impact, acquiring Roquan Smith would significantly improve the Bears' third down defense, which currently stands at around 37%, but could jump to 50% or higher with his inclusion. His ability to make contested tackles, force turnovers, and disrupt the quarterback would propel Chicago into a different defensive echelon. Statistically, the Bears would jump from a defense rating of about 86.5 to over 92.0, with big plays being stopped more frequently, up by 12 per game, according to some projections. This would translate into fewer points allowed, more turnovers, and a defense that can carry the team deep into January. And of course, the fantasy and betting implications are huge. The Super Bowl odds for Chicago could see a notable bump, moving from plus 700 to plus 450, according to DraftKings, reflecting a 12% chance of making it to the big dance. The NFC title picture would become even more open, with the Bears suddenly looking like a genuine contender if they add a player like Smith. He's the kind of X-factor who can turn close games into wins and elevate the entire team's performance in clutch moments. Looking ahead to the playoffs, having Roquan in the fold could be the difference maker. His clutch EPA per tackle and ability to make big plays in high-pressure moments make him a perfect fit for postseason football. His track record shows that he's a player who thrives when the stakes are highest, and that's exactly what Chicago needs to push through the NFC and reach the Super Bowl. Now, let's talk about the big picture. The Bears have been building a solid roster, focusing on their defense and the development of young players. Adding Roquan Smith would not only give them a proven veteran, but send a message that Chicago is serious about contending again. It would be a statement move that signals to the rest of the league that the Bears are all in for a new era, one where their defense is a nightmare for offenses, and their linebackers set the tone for years to come. Of course, nothing is certain until the trade is officially announced, but the signs are pointing strongly in that direction. The Ravens might be willing to make a deal, especially if they're focused on rebuilding their offensive line and extending Lamar Jackson. For the Bears, this could be the missing piece on defense that puts them over the top and makes their Super Bowl ambitions a reality. And now, Chicago Bears fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Chicago Bears. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Chicago Bears news. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Chicago Bears news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal.